Or do you know what match this is?
I think I do.
It's a match between snrplat and the clown, Prody himself.
Yes, indeed.
No, we have seen these two players play to honestly very high levels, and I'm just very excited for this game, right? These are two very old players right now, and they're very experienced. They know exactly how to play their team, but like, so I have a very small doubt in my mind. You know, I'm already starting to speculate how the game will go, but I'm gonna try avoid just giving all of my like speculations over right now. But maybe we can like have a look at their teams first and see how the matchup might go right now, because you have two like very different teams, right?
Yeah, two different teams. On one side, we're having a Naga team, but against a team on which Naga is not really good. So, what will Prody be cooking for this match? I wonder.
Like Plat has his signature 4 toxic Tems, right? While Turok is one of the only answers Prody might have into those 4 toxics. But I feel like that's probably Plat's first target then, right? You can get that Turok out of the way with the first ban and then just go on from there. The Volgon also carries a Blizzard, but it's not a stab move, so it probably will not do as much damage. So I think Prody has to find some sort of alternative game plan to defeat Plat here. Maybe even set up the Gorong like he used to do in the past, but that has become so much more difficult with like the nerfs to rush, right? Another Tem I think that might be kind of good on Prody's team. You think maybe Drakash?
Yeah, Drakash. Yeah, yes and no, because like I think he's gonna have some trouble in a couple of signature Tems of Plat.
Yeah, like Shuin and Platimus, and he's already banned like the Platimus from snrplat's name, but Plat does not go for the Turok ban, just decides to start off with Gorong. Okay.
Yeah, because I was looking at Plat's resistance chart, and you actually don't see a lot of ×2 on that. So
maybe he's trying to protect that Shuin, right? If he like, let's say Prody tries to lead Drakash, and Drakash is pretty good into like Nidrasil, Hazrat, Volgon, but if Plat wants to prevent that Drakash from ever popping off, he can simply lead Shuin, and by removing Gorong from the board, you can make it so that Shuin has a lot less threats to deal with. Like that Mawala, it might still be a melee, but it's nowhere as threatening as that Gorong.
Oh yeah. That, and also that Moala.
But we do just see an instant Turok, and then like Plat very fast just picks that Shuin Cycroc as well. Oh wow.
Yeah, and that Moala also taking double damage on Shuin's crystal move, so it's less of a hassle than the Gorong that takes like literally
like almost
nothing on ×2 on Plat's team. So
oh no, did Prody run out of time?
Yeah, is that
that could be a run? Like he might have just ran out of time there. That's not that great.
Did he disconnect maybe, or
maybe? Well, another thing is, right, he can't really go Mawala too freely either, as Cycrox does have harmful microwaves, and that is an easy one-shot headshot onto that Mawala.
Yeah.
So it's looking somewhat rough for Prody, but if anyone can come back, if anyone knows this team, it's Prody. Prody's been playing this team for like no one knows how long, but he has mastered this team and knows exactly what it can and cannot do. So I think we just have to see how it will pan out, but I think Plat does have a game plan in mind and will try his best to execute it.
Yeah, that's both players are gonna do that, right? I mean, and they are, like you said, like both of them are on teams they know like since forever, right? I mean, they've both been playing those teams for God knows how long, and you probably can't. Like it's gonna end up with both players having to read what their opponent does and trying to outsmart the other.
Like maybe perhaps that side like Plat might want to swap his Shireen out here or sometime else very soon, as it does not want to really take a lot of damage and just faint before the Drakash comes, because I think that Drakash has some hidden potential into some of the things in the back Plat. Another thing is like Yowler, right? It's such a raid boss tab, but Prody did bring a Naga. However, if you remember, I think it was the first game from snrplat that we saw where he bullies the Naga with his Yowler. I think the Naga might not just be a hard counter to the Yowler, but you see double up onto the Turok, and Turok is very squishy on Prody's side, and it takes so much damage. And that's even a kill next turn, right?
Yep. Yeah, that will go down to the poison takes.
If Flat wants to finish off the Turok as well with Shireen, that's also another option. You could also put the Tyrannac to sleep, but if I recall, the item for that Tyrannac is bait, so it will not be put to sleep. Maybe, and I think Plat knows this, and he will play accordingly.
Let me check that real quick, and yep, it is indeed bait. So no sleep for the dinosaur. And I actually I was checking something, and I have seen Prody running this exact team like at the start of last patch. So he has been running the exact same team for like 3 months at least.
He's been running this team for even over a year, I think. Like, I think I've been seeing this team for quite a long time, and it just goes to show that these like 8 or 7 Tems that Prody has put together, they're such a reliable core, and they cover each other so well that even after all of these patches, they're still so solid. And like,
yeah, and like when you look at the Tems, okay, Goron got a little nerf, but I've seen a lot of people asking about Drakash getting buffed, right? A lot of people are saying, yeah, except out of Hellfire, it doesn't do a lot. So if that gets buffed in the future, like Prody's team is gonna get better, and that Shwin surviving.
that is so not great for Prody, is it? Because now we have that core shield onto that Yowler, it's just gonna make it even more unkillable. Oh, and not to mention, look at everything on Plat's back, right? What is Naga not weak into there?
Yeah, that's
quite
that's gonna be hard for Prody.
Like, I would like to say that Prody might be able to ignore that Yowler, but at the same time, in the past, ignoring the Yowler would not be too difficult, right? After it lost show off, it can no longer offensively set up, but now it has Winter's Claw, which isn't just like a +3 attack buff, it just completely turns the momentum into your side, especially if you have some way to resist the freeze on your side, as well as like give yourself a free turn to hibernate or just like go savage into something like this Drakash right here. Oh, that is a lot of damage.
Ouch. Yeah, that's probably, yeah, that Drakash is squishy, so takes a lot of damage.
Surprisingly, I think the Drakash on the side of Prody is actually one of the bulkier Drakashes that we would see in like the Temtem player base, but that base defense stat does not help it at all right there. Oh, and the Strangle as well, making it so that Outgrowth did not generate nearly as much momentum as it would want to.
Yeah, that's now a Cage.
Cage got those guys in. Oh, but that bait does activate, so that means, okay, that does mean the bait will not be there in the future for that Tyrannac if it wants to maybe resist a neurotoxic from a Cycrox, or maybe just like a toxic tick from the wastewater of Hyzrat or Cycrox as well, right? So as well, it's like it's just overexerted while it has that Vigorize, right? So that's a lot of value that Plat actually generated for himself by activating that bait.
Yeah, and even with the burn, I think a Savage Suplex will kill the Drakash this turn.
That Savage Suplex did about 40%, right? If I'm not wrong, or maybe a bit less. So I think it might still be able to live just barely. But that Volgon, if it doubles up, that Drakash is not living at all.
Yeah, and Taranak not doing anything this turn. Maybe we'll see a Hellfire from Drakash.
We just saw the Hellfire just now, like double burn the Yowler and the Volgon. And
that was a Meteor Swarm from Taranak.
Oh, right. Okay, I'm so sorry. Yeah, we could see a Hellfire as well, or maybe even a Fire Tornado. Okay.
Yeah, something to deal as much damage as possible. So that's probably not a Hellfire.
And maybe just a simple Mud Shower to take down that Volgon so the Naga can come in freely and deal with that Yowler. But no!
Oh
no.
That's terrible. Terrible for Prody.
And the Hibernate on top. Oh no, this is not looking good for Prody because now he just has like a free entry for a Hazrat or even just his Cycrox back in.
Yeah, now he can. Yeah, rather the Cycrox, I guess.
The Cycrox can hit Nagais with harmful microwaves, can hit the Drakash with harmful microwaves. Like, I think this
and
is very heavily.
Keeping that Hazrat in the bag for later, because no need to put it in danger when there's Nagais on the field.
Exactly, and it can also deal well with the Taranak. But I will say this much, right? Prody still has the Tem advantage, right? He has basically three full HP Tems, while Plat has like, 3 Tems without that Drakash that Prody has, right? So it's not totally over, but that Yowler is just slowly and surely setting up that building blocks, and it's not looking too good for Prody right now. But we did see that Cycrox use Strangle.
Yeah, but that Strangle going before the swaps because of the Deceit Aura, so not much value this turn.
Yeah, you just overexerted your own Cycrox, and in the end, like, the Tem that Prody swapped out, I believe it was the Drakash. As you can see with the overexert indicator, the Drakash is overexerted in the back, while Prody has brought out his signature double mythicals to maybe deal some needed damage right now, maybe into the Cycrox, right? Because the Thunder Strikes from Volgon, or maybe just aim down that Yowler while it still has only +3 and not like +4 or +5 in a few turns. Plat knows about the T-Strike and swaps out into the Hazrat, while also generating some pressure for himself, as the Hazrat deals very well into Taranak, as it resists every single move Taranak can pull out, while he also aims down Volgon's the side, but that outgrowth is some nice value from Prody.
Yeah, but isn't this the Winter Skull turn?
Oh yeah, it could be. No, but Prody has been very adamant running Short Circuit. We just see that Short Circuit right now, and it blocks that building blocks. I think that is why he swapped in the Volgon as well, right, to deny any more further buffs, while also making so Winter's Call is a simple freeze and nothing more. So this does look like the Short Circuit that people have doubted in the past, like it blocks his Gorong setup. Now is actually doing him quite a few favors against all of this, bear clock.
Yeah, and that Volgon taking 30% on the Savage Suplex, so it will take some time before going down.
And Plaid decides not to just aim down the Volgon and goes into the Taranak, leaving the Volgon free. Yowler does get a very nice heal off right now, and that meteors. Okay, he goes into the rat. That's also fair, right? You just want to kill the rat as fast as possible so you can go to killing the Cycrox. I think Prody has found his line of strategy. He simply just gets to ignore that Yowler because of Volgon. Because that Volgon exists, he can ignore that Yowler. And
yeah, but now with the Toxic Farewell, and a Savage Suplex, it's in range of dying. Not this turn, but next one. Or maybe Cycrox just doubles in on Volgon this turn.
Maybe it's just a simple Yowler rest, and then Cycrox clicks harmful, and that might just put Volgon into range of the ticks, right? or clinch as well, right? You can very easily double up, but no, he goes to finish off the Tyrant Act. That's overexerted. But okay, you are right. This Yellow just uses that Savage Suplex, and it's barely not in range.
Yeah, so it will neutralize the Yowler. And is this the building blocks turn or is it next turn?
Well, if it's this turn, then it's better for Prody, right? Because short circuit exists. However, I don't think that's going to be the case.
No,
this
it's
Cyclops, one of the items that I think is really helpful for Cyclops, and I think Plat knows it very well, is that reactive vial. Because of this reactive vial, we might not see the Cyclops just go down this turn, unless like Jakash goes all in with the Fire Needle and it just takes down that Cyclops.
Yeah, but even then, Volgon is down, and then we have Naga. And even though Yowler is weak to mental moves, it will just drain its own life while being frozen, won't it?
As a wise man once said, you don't need green circles when everything is a green circles. Signed by neutral Tems.
Yep, so... But it's still a 2v1, so... Maybe...
It might...
Okay.
Oh,
I maybe talked a little fast.
Yeah.
Okay, no longer 2v1.
So we will now see Yowler in action and how...
Okay, so Yowler's only weakness is mental, so... this shouldn't be a problem for the gaze, right? surely.
You know, like fire beats grass, grass beats water, and mental beats neutral. Surely it will work out the way we're all thinking, right?
Yeah, totally. So is it bear o'clock?
Not yet. I think it's a pretty good time to just rest now.
Yeah, maybe.
It might just
rest
be bear
and hibernate this turn, or nah. I think you can Winter's Call this turn.
You can Winter Call, like I think Winter Call is up. You can click it this turn, then you can go into a hibernate if you don't overexert, and then just click the funny Savage button, right? Or you just hibernate here, and Nagai's trait working against itself, making it so it's going to take more and more damage onto itself. It's not looking very good for Prody right now. But Hypnosis, maybe?
Hypno. Naga buying itself some time, but time works against you, buddy.
No,
See,
I think
that's how you deal with Naga.
That is true. The time is now working actively against Prody right now. You can side surge the Yowler, not overexerting yourself, and maybe going for the beta this turn, right? And hoping that kills, but unfortunately, because of all those building blocks, it's just not gonna be the case.
And there's the concession.
Prody realizes, honestly, with how I was talking about the matchups, I think Prody played it like... Prody played it so compared to how I was thinking they would go, but... Again, Dollar
I think I'm losing you. Or is it my internet?
No, I think it might be... Okay, one sec. I can try fix my cam for a second. Well...
Okay, yeah. So yeah, that Naga is crying right now.
It's certainly the rise of...
Yeah, so we just saw one of the most hated Tems of last season just getting beaten to a pulp by the bear.
Yeah, you know, like, why do we have to nerf Naga? Perfectly balanced Tem right here. You see, it just lost to a neutral.
I mean, you can't even beat a neutral Tem with your Naga, so why would you even need... I mean, it clearly needs a buff, right?
Yeah, you have nerf Yowler, buff Naga.
Yeah, totally. Naga needs like, I don't know, the Seedora needs to stop draining Naga's life so it can stay healthy while...
They need to revert this Seedora to like its former state where it lasted forever without any repercussion whatsoever. But we do see snrplat and Prody going into a game very soon. Will they be able to change something up? Because I think like in that game, right? I think Prody played it almost perfectly, but even then, it still wasn't enough. So I don't know if there's much that Prody can do against Plat right here. This time,
Yeah.
they do go for a complete different pick and ban.
Yeah, we see the Schween getting banned, and the Turok, like you said, what would happen first game. So I guess Plat is more in line with your game plan right now.
Like, I think Plat and Prody, they both kind of understand if Shireen is banned, then Gorong is not banned, and if Platimus is banned, then you just ban the Gorong instead of the Turok, right? It's just one Tem that deals with another, but maybe this might just create enough room for Prody to be able to come back. This is looking interesting.
Yeah, and
another thing to note right now is that I think the only Tem right now that Prody can pick safely into these two is perhaps a Mawala or a Gorong. I think I kind of like that Gorong right now. Mainly as like all the other Tems, like, you know, Drakash, Tyrannak, Nagais, they don't really do too well. Maybe even a Platimus, but I don't know if Prody's Platimus has enough pressure. Perhaps it could. Another thing, yeah, sorry.
No. I was thinking about that Gorong. Like, I don't really know if it will be able to pull its weight right here.
So I think after the rush nerfs, Prody has changed the Gorong quite a bit, where it used to have less attack and used to set up its attack very fast and just like smack things with like tireless and rush and the hook kick. But now it's more just like a very upfront bruiser where it just has a lot of attack invest and it just starts clicking moves turn one, like with a wrenching massage instead of what he would normally do with a rush. So perhaps we could see like a lot of direct damage right now.
Oh, because I think I was in a vocal chat. Well, we were in a vocal chat with Invincible yesterday, and I believe Invincible said like that Gorong is probably just 500 HP, 500 attack.
Yeah, like because what happened as Invincible versus Prody later on, Invincible commented how that Gorong just knocked out Invincible's Wolfie almost straight up with like a rush to just finish it off. So like it's telling me that he's changed something about that Gorong and it's gonna bring heat. That Volgon right there to its side also just deals double damage into the Platimus. So we could just see a very quick Platimus just drop dead and let like the Drakash roam free later on. If you also see like pretty similar pick ban in the back for Plat with Yowler, you know, it's always solid. Won him that last game. Why would you not pick it up again?
Yeah, I mean, if your plan is doing good, why change it, right? And Prody acknowledging, okay, this Naga is not doing anything for me, so I am just not bringing it.
Yeah, instead he brings the Platimus, which might be able to do some work, right? Toxin Shower makes it so it can't get hit by a Yowler in a 1v1, but Yowler can always just double up, and unlike Naga, Platimus does not have a similar pressure, but we see the lava wave going onto the Gorong, applying C's, so it no longer has nutrition bar to just heal it back up. But that Gorong has such a beefy just defense, it doesn't take much. That swap is very nice when you consider that like the Thunder Strike is resisted by that Volgon.
Yeah, but it's still that Volgon is resisting both. Well, the Thunder Strike obviously, but the massage is still being resisted pretty well by that Volgon.
It did do quite a bit of damage, but it's not even enough to like, you know, defeat that Volgon right now with like a double up on Prody's side. He could hook kick into maybe Thunder Strike again, but that's not going to be enough. So maybe he's going to switch targets this time and go for the Hazrat, or even perhaps bring out that Drakash in the back right now, because it's going to put some work into these two that are both weak to it.
Yeah, and that Gorong, like, it doesn't want to take a double up right now because of the nut bar not working. So
exactly.
And Prody wants to keep that Gorong for later, I believe.
The Drakash does resist the wastewater, but it does not like the take, but that Blizzard on Prody's side does a lot of damage, and the triangle may not have landed on the correct slot that Plat wanted it to. Wow.
Yeah, and it is an A shot, so
it's still like up here, and it does have Ampere outburst up, right? If it wants to overexert that Volgon again, while Plat can
you probably.
I can just bring up.
Maybe you're okay. Yeah, he's swapping into Plat. Okay.
You have the Platymus that's good integer cache, and you have absolutely no fear of any electric moves from the Volgon as you can overexert, but he decides not to go for the overexert and just to hit that Volgon. Maybe he was trying to go for a read there, but Prody completely reads Platymus, attacking the not Platymus, Senior Plat. I'm sorry.
It's the same.
The Drakash goes on
the board and piloted by Platymus.
Yeah, that does make it a bit confusing when you're trying to cast of it, right? But that Mud Shower goes onto the right target. He kind of knows which plot might swap out, while Plat may be thinking that Platymus or Gorong might be coming out on Prody's side, right? So he decides not to overexert that Volgon. Oh, but the cage!
Yeah. But does he know?
I think he knew, but he couldn't do anything because his cache is fairly slow. Oh. But this does mean that Platymus does get inked quite hard, so it's not exactly like a complete loss for Prody, right?
Yeah, I mean, you kill the Volgon, you deal almost 50% on Platymus. Platymus now in range of a T-strike, but Platymus having the Tuck Shower up, so...
Yeah,
but
I think maybe so Prody does have a very strong tool on his side right now. Blizzard is good into both of these Tems right now, and it might not even overexert that Volgon right now. The Platymus is trapped, so it's probably going to just go for the Toxic Shower, so it avoids a lot of damage. All that Hazrat, it does not look like it's going to enjoy any of the hits right now.
Yeah, what I could also see is it depends on Volgon and Gorong's speed, but if Gorong is faster than Volgon, I could see like a Heli Kick and a T-strike. And if Volgon is faster, like you said, like a Heli Kick and a Blizzard on the Platymus.
Yeah, it could be. Oh, another lava wave to disable that nutrition bar. He does not like that.
No healing for Gorong. No.
That is... I believe it's like a very educated way of dealing with Gorong, where you cancel out that one thing that makes it so annoying to like kill, and that's the nutrition bar. And Plat, it goes against it perfectly. We do see the Heli Kick into Blizzard play, and he doesn't go after the Hazrat, maybe just to avoid any of the Toxic Feral, but it does overexert him by a very small amount. But the Diabolo as well.
Yeah. And that Gorong still not overexerting. I mean, that's a sad monkey right now.
But here's the thing as well, like that makes it even worse, right? If Platymus right now, if it took a little bit more damage, it would be in rush range. But I think it just barely avoids it, maybe by like 10 points of HP. While that rat, like that rat is slow, right? It barely avoids like being taken down to a Heli Kick right now.
Yeah, that's probably not in.
Oh, goes for the double.
Yeah, that Gorong is dead.
Yeah, maybe it should have just gone for a rush there, perhaps, right? Just deal a bit of damage to Hazrat. But at the same time, right?
You knew you were slower, so get some damage off and.
You don't overexert either, but at the same time, I do understand how if they hit the Volgon instead of the Gorong, then that rush would not be really useful at all. So I think in the end, it was much better for Prody to just stay in there with the Gorong and just deal that Heli Kick. But we see Volgon coming back without really much stamina to justify like doing much here on the board. But at the same time, the only thing Prody has in the back is a Tyrannac that is weak to these double Toxics. Not looking good for Prody right now.
Yeah. Platymus goes down, sacrifices itself. And so does Hazrat. So does the Volgon rest, or will the Volgon
just rest? That is a very bold rest, but it is nice to see. Now we see these two Tems come out, and like as much as like while this is somewhat favorable for Prody in terms of like the number of Tems alive, the two Tems on Senior Plat's side are just so dominating right now that I feel like it's way like the scales are tilted into Plat's favor.
Yeah, because
Bear, it's a bear.
The Volcan, is it like what's Prody supposed to do? Like double in on the Cyclops to try to kill it this turn, or will the Volcan die before it will get a T-strike off?
I believe the Volgon is fast enough to land a T-strike before Cyclops defeats the Volgon, as like Plat usually runs very minimal speed invest into a lot of Tems, and I assume the same goes for that Cyclops. But at the same time, the longer you attack, like more you attack Cyclops, the more you go to attention, the more you're just letting Yowler go out of control. But at the same time, I do understand that it is a toxic Tem, and you probably do want to like take it down before, you know, like maybe you don't want Tyrannox to take the toxic damage, right?
Yeah.
You just need to double up, just take down that Volgon, which is...
And that Aqua Bullet Hell did like 27 or something, so... I don't think Whirlwind will do to 35. So
I think it does, right? Aqua Bullet Hell is about 80 damage, while Aquatic Whirlwind is 130 damage. In any case, I feel like Prody just has to go for that Aquatic right now, just to make sure that Tyrannox takes very little damage and just start dishing out damage on Yeller. I still don't think it's completely over. As like if Prody can deal enough damage in short amount of time, and it barely just I swear I could see that HP slowing down to the very standstill at the end, but it just barely takes it down, and the Yowler just it goes all into the Platymus, which fair enough, right? The Platymus does you don't want it to click Toxin Shower on you again and again and again. So you just want to deal as much damage as fast as possible. That's your game plan right here.
Yeah, but now we're in the 1v2 situation where, well, Platymus just rest this turn, I guess, and clicks Toxin Shower next turn.
Oh yeah, you're right. Although the Toxin Shower does inch a lot at the Tyrannox, I think just keeping your Platymus alive is really just beneficial right now, right? While Tyrannox can just lower the stamina of that Yowler as well, annoy it even more. I think this game might actually go to Prody. You'll see, like, if bear is bear, you can't underestimate the bear.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Yowler clicking Hibernate this turn.
I think Hibernate
and Platymus like and Prody reading it and not clicking Toxin Shower this turn. But that would be a bold move.
It also triggers the bait on the Tyrannox, so the Tyrannox will not be running out of stamina, so this Yowler will just go down unless it clicks Hibernate, but no, Plat does not read it, and I don't even think that's too much there. Do you want to know one thing? Maybe one thing I might have wanted to see from Plat that might have saved the game there would be perhaps a Toxic Slime onto that Platymus before that Volgon went down, when you didn't have an Intimidator Tyrannox blocking the Toxic Slime. If that Toxic Slime hit the Platymus could have just been doomed, and you could focus all your attention onto Tyrannox. But Prody, despite the matchup, he played it really well, and in the end, he just took that win. So now it's a 1-1.
So now we got a game 3. Clowns. Loss of the Clowns, I believe, right? No, there's Corn is still there.
We have Lord Corn. I need to move him here so people don't forget. Anyways, time to go to game 3. How will they play Pickban this time? Similar to game 1, or maybe similar to game 2? Prody does not
get insta-ban.
gets insta-ban. Maybe I think you might want to go for the Platymus ban this time, right? And then you can go lead Gorong into the Shireen, but no, it's the Volgon. That's very interesting.
Volgon ban. So, does he want to like pull out his Moala?
Maybe he wants to pull out his own Platymus, right? Because that's one of the few things that is good into his Platymus. Perhaps.
Yeah.
We do see a completely different Tem this time, right? We see a Ninja Soul. We've only seen this, I believe, like very few times. But we see it now, and it can probably deal quite a lot of damage with the toxic ticks from allergic spread, from spores. It can also heal its allies. Just playing us like a war of attrition instead of like the more mid-range kind of game that we've seen in the past few games.
Yeah. So Prody hovering the monkey again?
Yeah, I think
or
the
rather
monkey
the ape. It's more of a gorilla than a monkey, but
yeah, I think the monkey is strong, but one of the few weaknesses the monkey has is toxic ticks, and I don't think it will like that a lot. But at the same time, maybe if Tyrannac can come in, it can cancel the Tri-Apothecary off Senior Plat, and that may be what Plat is planning to do, like Prody's trying to do against Plat.
Yeah, so are we seeing the rat again? Rat and double in on Gorong?
I think the rat is quite good, right? Because Lava Wave cancels with synergy, right? Cancels out the nutrition bar.
Yeah.
Platypus is also a really good one because Toxic Ticks, Urushiol. You've seen that before.
Yeah, that Urushiol. 4 turns of Toxic Ticks, not being affected by the nutrition bar. Pretty good.
Yep. One thing we do have to consider is that Volgon does have, I believe, Chamomile, so it does not receive any Toxic Ticks for the first 2 turns of it being in the battlefield, and it is an electric type which can hit that Platymus quite hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In fact, I think we might just see a double up into that Platymus, while Plat maybe picking that Platymus for that Drakash in the back, right? Maybe just swap it out turn 1 and enjoy the benefits later, but nope, he decides to just ban that Drakash.
Yes, so okay, yeah, and the Mimid ban on Prody side is probably a good thing because that Mimid. We have seen in the past what that Mimid can do on Plat's in Plat's hands.
Yeah, I would also maybe consider a Yowler ban, but we did see how Prody maneuvered that Yowler, getting it in so where it doesn't have much value. This time instead of Nagas, he will pick Mawala, which I believe does have a slightly better matchup into Yowler compared to Naga, because one thing you have to note, but he does not, he does not have Synergy Black Hole, right? Because both of the Earths are banned and that Volgon is not super conductivity.
Yeah.
That is not too
Well,
great.
I just gotta hit it with the mental move. It's supposed to win against the neutral, right?
Well, at least it does not lose any HP, and Mawala does have quite a decent physical bulk, right? But it is very scared of that Cycrox right there. It's harmful, but no, he decides to go double mental. Wow, okay. We're going to see a very different game right here compared to the first 2 games.
Yeah, and well, we'll see what happens turn 1, but that Mont Lunch actually helping the Gorong.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because I believe if Prody spreaded that Gorong correctly, that wrenching massage should overexert that Gorong under exhaustion.
I think it. I tested it with the other day, and I think you need to scuff 1 SV for Gorong to overexert turn 1.
If it is that way, then we could be seeing Prody just getting so much momentum.
Yeah, but in any case, if Prody clicks the wrench and massage this turn, the Gorong will not have any stamina left, but it's a Helikick instead.
Okay, just getting a lot of damage, right? And Plat understands how to defeat that Gorong. Just let the ticks do the work. And that looks like it's going to just be quite good, but that Yowler's already chunking. I really like this Yowler swap right now from Plat. Wow.
Yeah, bringing the bear instantly.
That bear, it's taking half damage, right? But look what's in the back of Prody. Prody picked those double mentals, maybe just to target down that Yowler. So if you just that Yowler probably has a lot less value for Plat this game, right? So if you just let it soak damage in the beginning, you're gonna have all your other Tems in the back that are completely healthy, and they go so good, they go so well into the Tems that Prody has, as to just mathematically outscale them. A very nice Mawala swap here because of the Chamomile, right? Gets a lot of free damage onto that Ninja Soul with the Blizzard.
Yeah, and canceling 2 turns while the Volgon still manages to get its Blizzard off is pretty nice value there.
Yeah, however,
because like you said, like the Yowler coming out kind of forces Prody to bring his mentals out. Else, if the bear goes down, then the mentals are like, what are they doing here?
Yeah, Naga does not like any 4 of the Toxics. All 4 Toxics were picked, and the Mawala very scared of that Cycrox, and in general, not liking all the chip the Toxics can put out. I will mention one thing, that Volgon is looking quite good into the back of the Senior Plat. Maybe he wants to save that Volgon right now.
Yeah, and
another thing I have to note is that Platimus for Prody, I believe, is Zen Platimus, so he no longer has a way to sleep that Platimus and get Zen on his side.
Oh.
So that is one option that Prody had, but is now taken away, because I believe the only other way you can get Zen is maybe using Hypnosis on Naga and just self-sleep the Platimus, which may be something he could do, but I feel like that would not be a lot of momentum.
Yeah, that's... and it's +2, so it's... okay, it's a nice buff, but it's not that game-breaking. So... but we see the Plat coming out.
The allergic spread, so many ticks, but it's like blocks that, like, you know, with the toxic type. So it is a quite nice swap for Prody, and he does just slam a black hole into the side of Yowler, that doing like just above 50%.
Yeah, that's 52% damage. So that's a lot of damage.
Volgon did swap out, so we do see a building block come out, but I think a swapping out and not taking those 3 ticks when you have to, like, you know, go against the Cycrox and the Platimus later on is a pretty good trade. So I think we might just see a double up here, right? From Prody, just click the, like, maybe a Teleclinic Shrapnel or Transient Echo alongside Aquatic Whirlwind or Aqua Bullet. Oh, that might be enough to finish off Yowler. I would personally just take it the safe way and double up with an Aquatic plus, like, Transient Echo. But that does mean Senior Plat does have, like, quite a few decent swaps. Maybe like Platimus, right?
Yeah, that Nidrasil can just sit there and
just chunk away, or can even click Bark Shield, right? I believe it has Bark Shield, as we saw from URM's game, where it copied that Ninja Soul and just used Bark Shield. Could be something, maybe into that Cycle. Prody kind of reads this, but does not use Aquatic Whirlwind that I would have kind of wanted to see, but it's still good damage, right? Especially onto that Ninja Soul. Okay, that's what Prody's going for, that Ninja Soul. No.
Yeah, and we see the Bark Shield coming out. So Cycrox being a little bit tankier, but Mawala surviving thanks to the Diabolo. No, the other. No, never mind.
Platimus just gets a lot of stamina back, right, and a lot of HP back. One of Senior Plat's main styles is like getting chip and slowly killing the Tems. So getting like the little HP back is quite useful, but it's maybe not as useful as like a Diabolo onto like the Mawala would have been, right? But that's clearly not going to happen. In any case, that. And like just Prody doubling up onto that Ninja Soul does make it so that Ninja Soul just did not gain any value from the Bark Shield onto itself, but only on that Cycrox. The Cycrox is still, like, look at this, it's still weak to special hits like Volgon's Thunderstrike or this Aquatic Whirlwind you see. So it's still not completely just like invincible, right?
Yeah, but that Mawala is getting sacrificed because it never lives ×4 microwaves, but
it did get some, like, look at that damage onto the Hazard.
Yeah, it did some damage, but now we are gonna have to see. Well, that was one of the 2 mentals. So, and we saw what happened last game when Naga went into Yowler. So
yeah, and then Yowler could always just, you know, heal up, but at least this time Yowler only has +1/+1, so it could tell an entirely different story right now. the Volgon is into a board against Cycrox, and maybe with a bit of chip from like Platimus, maybe clicking Toxin Shower, or maybe even from this percent of HP, Thunderstrike could just take down that Cycrox. But I believe it's barely out of range, and Reactive Well will proc if Prody does not chip it with Platimus. But Plat just decides to swap it out. That's a completely fine play as well.
Yeah, for maybe sacrificing the neutral.
And getting a Mom's Lunge.
Yeah,
that's very good. Mom's Lunge right there onto the Platimus.
Volgon not taking a lot of damage.
Which you always love to see, like... It barely doesn't kill, so both moves were wasted onto his ninja. So this was an amazing sacrifice from Planet, just taking both hits as well, right? I think in this scenario, it might have been better to instead just click Toxin Shower, but I do understand Prody not wanting to injure his Volgon more than he needs to, because it still has so much work to do. It has to kill the Cycrox, the Platimus, the Hazrat, and it definitely does not have the HP to deal with all of them if it gets slowly ticked by Toxic Shower and other hits like Lava Wave right there.
And yeah,
the Platimus also does not like that lunge either. Now it's slowly running out of stamina, but because of Sweatband, it still has quite a lot of stamina to burn through. It's very surprising. I think Platimus right now is the absolute best user of Sweatband in the game right now. With how many moves you can just get out, how low cost the moves are, and how much stamina you regen, it makes us so Plat can just stay on the board for so long. And I think Plat has done that as well with his own Platimus, but that one was not Sweatband, it's Diabolo Platimus.
Yeah, and now we see Yowler coming back in.
Without any of the mentals on board as well, right?
Yeah, taking advantage of being kind of safe.
But at the same time, honestly, if this Thunderstrike defeats the Yowler, it's actually really good for Prody, but if not, then... Oh, no!
Yeah, but now that Yowler...
That Yowler is so close to just... Oh, no.
It's in rush range?
It's in rush range, but the rusher is not on the field right now. Oh, no, this is not good for Prody. If that Yowler had went down, that Volgon would be chilling right now. Perhaps it still wouldn't like a double up from a Platimus and Hazrat, but it still would be in a lot better situation than it is right now. Prody, just... But he just decides to take the Yowler.
Killing is the Yowler.
Okay. Sure. But this is not exactly that great for Plat, is it, right? Because maybe, okay, I think Plat knew that Yowler was going down anyways, right? So he just wanted to avoid as much damage onto his Hazrat. But that Toxin Shower in reverse, as long as Toxin Shower hits something, it will proc the evade. And that's exactly what it just did onto, it hit the Gorong and it proc the evasion, right? But now we see a Cycrox harmful microwaves is always up, and it will deal a lot of damage into that Gorong, even maybe just straight up taking it out. But no, Gorong outspeeds and gets a hook kick onto Plat's Platimus. Does not do a lot of damage though.
Yeah, I was about to say, once again, Gorong being kind of underwhelming. That rush nerf really hurt it.
Yeah, maybe Prody might want to think about using a different Tem instead of the Gorong, but right now it's getting outsped by that Platimus and it's just going to go down. It does not look too good for Prody right now. Look at the back of Prody. That Volgon is 14%. Naga is weak to all three Toxics right now. And Platimus just has to do all of that carrying by itself, but it's half out of stamina. I don't think it's going to be able to do that. Toxin Shower does take out the Gorong.
Yep. So that Cycrox will probably proc the... Oh no.
Neurotoxins, yeah.
Hitting...
This is what Plat had to do last game, where he had to just proc Neurotoxin, right? And oh no, Toxin Shower evading that Rotting Goo. This is not looking good for side of Prody. I believe he does not have any way of adding removing that Doom as well, right? As like Volgon, if it had Purgation in the past, no longer clears Tomb.
Does Prody's Volgon have Cage?
Oh, maybe. Okay, you're right. If it cages into Toxic Shower, it can still clear the Doom, and that is exactly what he does. You are right. I keep forgetting about that cage, but that cage does mean that Volgon, well, I guess it would go down anyway to the Aquatic, but the Toxic Shower would have also taken it down. That is not all that bad for Prody though, as now it just hits 2 times on flat side. However, it's still an uphill battle for Prody right now.
Yeah, because... Okay, well... Negate comes out, supposed to be the strongest Tem in the game or something by...
Oh no,
Yeah,
Diablo on
this-
Platypus right now is also it's a very different item pick, but it is a very good pick because the Toxin Shower Platypus easily stays on the board and it just got the Diabolo off and it's looking very rough for Prody right now.
Yeah, because now that Platypus on Prody's side is... Okay, it can still stay up for a little longer, but that Negate is not gonna do a lot of...
Oh, maybe a Rotting Goo as well? See? If you can get a Rotting Goo onto maybe like... Hopefully it's not a Toxin Shower from... Oh no, it's just Toxin Shower. I think Prody really had to click Rotting Goo there and to just take down that Platypus, but now it does not look like it's going to be able to generate any more value.
No, it's just resting.
I was hoping that Prody would Rotting Goo that Platypus, even if he overexerts, he still gets like the Hazmat out and then Naga can go for a Naga Fury and that would deal a lot of damage to both Hazmat and Cyclops, but I guess Cyclops does have Digi-Threat in the back, so if it ever wants to, it can always just like take down that Nagas before a Naga Fury, so this is not looking too good for Platinum, like for Prody right now. We do see a side surge.
Now you're forced to click side surge because of the Digi.
Digi-Threat. He just decides to go for the Toxic Slime instead. No Digi-Threat for
Plat is like, I mean, I'm not forced to use my 3 prio Digi-Threat because I still have 3 Temps and you're going down anyway, so I'm chilling and I'm taking this game.
Does Plat even run Digi-Threat? He only has one synergy and that is the Volgon, so maybe he just doesn't even run that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He might not even run it,
I think Prody really had to click Rotting Goo there instead then.
Yeah.
Now it's looking very difficult.
And I think this is Plat just going to Grand Finals.
Well, we still have another losers bracket game coming up.
Oh yeah, I keep,
you don't have it's not even near Grand Final yet.
Yeah, no, never mind.
We have so many games right now.
I'm so used to Plat winning. I thought that he was still in winners bracket.
Yeah, I get that as well, right? We still have like another losers bracket match coming up very soon, where we will see Arn and I believe Magnetonics play it out, while
against. So that's one clown less. So now it's up to the last clown.
Unfortunately, this was the end for Prody and his tournament run, but he did play splendidly and he earned himself quite a large cash prize, but we will see this pair just going down. We have one final hope for the Cuddly Clowns, and that is Lord Corn himself, which in my opinion is the best clown there is in the game right now. But man, talking about that game, that was an intense best of 3. Like, I believe the stakes, like all like the advantage wasn't Plat's side, but Prody played so well and brought the game to his side in game 2, but it barely just was not enough in game 1 and 3, and Plat in the end overtakes Prody and goes to the next round of losers bracket. I mean,
and it also means like Naga defeated, like of the 7 Nagas that were brought in the tournament, like none of them makes it past.
Yeah, none of them
this round. So
none of them
is Naga actually balanced?
So here's another thing to consider for all of the Naga haters, right? Or people who might think Naga is balanced. But here's the thing, right? All of these top players, they have built their team to defeat Naga. Every single player has many checks, or their teams right now are just built to not be, it's like they're just not threatened by Naga as much as like the average team you would find on ladder, right? On ladder, there are a lot of more like maybe hyper offensive teams that do not have as much Naga counters as like maybe all of these players, these top 15 players have. Like even Lulu, who's currently sitting in like the grand finals, they have Tuvan, they have Zalbian, they have Regnit. So Naga just cannot generate enough value. The Naga, I believe, to this side right here, is just not doing too good in the tournament.
Nah, I'm crying. I'm crying a lot. But yeah, I mean,
we will leave it to East and B Flatten to further analyze the game. East, again, knows Plat very well, can explain things in much more depth than we are right now.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we will be giving it over to East and B Flatten.
Yep, because East analysis will probably be way better than mine because honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing anyway. So off you go, guys.
All right, off we go to East and B Flatten.
All right, B flat, we're back. We're taking a look at this crazy set between Prody and snrplat. Very, very interesting. What are your opening thoughts on sort of what happened there?
So, for those that don't know, Prody runs a very the definition for Prody's team is the definition of no you. You do something, it's canceled. You do something else, it's canceled again. We saw that with Short Circuit, Intimidator, Sleep, things like that. Plat doesn't really care about getting no you'd because a lot of his Tems are not canceled out by, or they're in detriment of getting, negated. Plat's Tems kind of just sit there and exist, whereas the no you card is very limited. We see that with the limited turns of Tyrannex trait, for example. The Short Circuit Volgon was basically Prody's chance and opportunity to cancel what Plat has going for him. The Bark Shield Nidrasil, the Quartz Shield on Schween, the Yowler especially. Plat doesn't really care about getting no you'd. He's just able to sit there and exist, and that ended up happening in game number 3.
Yeah, all right. Let's get into this. So, the big thing that kind of turned this series in game 2 and game 3 in Prody's favor is that Volgon is functionally a wind Tem. When you think about it, Blizzard has about 115 base power. That's about as much as Stab Wind Burst on one hold. So it's like functionally a wind Tem. When you combine it with the fact that half of Plat's toxic Tems are weak to Thunderstrike, the Volgon is effectively Prody's second wind. Now, I think that led to some pick ban problems for Plat. In particular, I think his draft in game 3 was quite poor. Like, he had to have identified that the Volgon was a problem for him, and instead he bans Turok. And to me, that's a lack of player research, in the sense that Prody's Turok can't actually take any hits. It has no bulk. It's just a fast, completely random, no bulk Turok that is like no problem for Plat to kill with either Nidrasil or Yowler. So Prody gets his Volgon into the game on that first pick, and that all of a sudden creates a huge problem for Plat. And you can see in like the first 3 turns of that game, Plat is scrambling. He's trying everything he can to like force this Volgon out, deal with this Volgon, and Prody's in a pretty good position board-wise. He's got Moala Volgon on the board. All he has to do is keep pressing his advantage and score a couple kills, and he leaves on the Volgon. And as soon as that Volgon swapped out, the whole game turns around. He gives Plat the breathing room that he needs to accelerate his game plan, to start putting ticks on things, and now the Volgon has to come out of the back somehow. And eventually it comes in, it starts taking damage, it starts getting chipped down, and then it's gone, and then Plat has everything he needs to win the game from there.
So, Loser's Bracket is what we just saw. Loser's Bracket is what we're going to be continuing with. Loser's Bracket exists for a second chance and a second opportunity. We have Magnetonics, who took a loss earlier on the winner's side, who gets a second opportunity. We have Argon, who lost their first game against Genesect in winner's bracket yesterday. Everyone has off games. Everyone has off days. We're going to be seeing which one is going to be taking the remainder of the loser's bracket after a short little break.
Yeah, we'll see you guys on the flip side.